think you'll agree that we're really lucky to have such dark skies on our doorstep, where we can still show our children the Milky Way, and this is a blessing worth protecting for the generations that's still to come. And I'm going to give you some top 3 tips of what to look out for when choosing a light bulb and how to put it up. And those things are colour, lumens, and if the light can be tilted downwards or not. And with those 3 things, you should be able to do your bit for the dark skies wherever you live. So why is upward lighting important? Well, it should be fairly obvious for you. The reason is because upward light isn't illuminating where you need the light. It's not on the floor, it's going up in the sky. It's just a waste really, isn't it? It's a waste of money, it's a source of light pollution. So what are the best ways to avoid upward light in buying a light? Well, I can do this with the good, the bad and the ugly guide to lighting. So let's go to our trusty little light here. Now this, as you can see, is throwing light in all directions. It's going up into the air, and we really don't like that. That's got a high upward light component. We don't like these. We want to avoid those if you can. This is an ugly light. Let's go to a bad light. So this is a bad light. I don't know if you can see it really. Maybe I can turn it around. One of those kind of coach lanterns you get outside of everybody's house generally. Now as you can see, it's got a bit of a top to it, which is good because it stops all the light from going up. It doesn't really stop it from going sideways. And actually, it's not the light that goes up to the problem, it's the light that goes to the side because it passes through the atmosphere at longer distances. So that's what you really want to consider, is where the light goes. Up, so that's not too bad, but it's the sideways path that's worse. So this is better, but it's still pretty bad. So let's go to a good light. Good light. So a good light, you can actually get good lights. I know the colour temperature is not going to be very good with this one. But one of the these kind of LED ones. And the good thing with these is you can pop them on your wall and you can tilt them down. Perfect. You don't even have to have them flat. You've got a couple about 10 degrees, 15 degrees to play with to make sure you get the amount of light where you need it. Really simple stuff. It's just tilting things down like that. That, apart from the colour temperature, is a good light. So another thing to consider is the colour of the lamp. We measure this in something called the CCT, the colour correlated temperature. It's measured in degrees Kelvin, which is just an astronomical fancy way of telling you what the temperature is. What we want to avoid are the really, really bright white lights that are around about 5000 K because they are very, very white, as you can see here with this one. Very, very white light, you can't see me. Now the trouble with white light is very rich in the blue wavelengths, and those blue wavelengths excite the atmospheric atoms and they allow the blue light to penetrate further into the sky, which means we have more light pollution. So we want to avoid those. You may see them with some of the street lights that are kind of quite bright in the area. It means the glow is that much bigger. What we actually want is something closer to 3000 Kelvin, which is what this one looks like. It's a lot more orangery, as you can see. And this is much better because it doesn't contain those blue-white wavelengths, which means we can constrain the amount of light pollution coming out. So my little tip is, it's a bit of a rule of thumb, if it looks like the sun, that's number 1. If it's very, very white, it's a bag of... it's not right. Let's just leave it at that. So what is a lumen and why are they important? Well, a lumen is roughly the measure of how much light a lamp will give off. Now previously we kind of dealt with wattages and we picked 60 watt bulbs off the shelf to do what we need for most domestic purposes. But because with the invention of LEDs, it means we got a lot more light for less power. So just picking a 60 watt bulb off the shelves is no longer really useful. So we're dealing in lumens these days. And it's important to get the lumens right because that's what gives us the light on the surface to aid us in what we're doing. If we just go for the brightest source we possibly can get, we're just going to be over illuminating everything, and all that scattering is just going to go up into the atmosphere and create light pollution. And that magic number is about 500 lumens, which incidentally is about equal to a 60 watt incandescent light bulb. So let's just see what 500 lumens actually looks like, just to show you that it is completely appropriate for domestic purposes. So this is it here, just a normal little light bulb in a holder there, and that's about 500 lumens. As you can see, it's enough light for me to walk up my garden path, put the key in the door safely and put the shop on away. Nice and easy. So what if you need to light an area in your back of your garden that's a long way away? Well, stick to the rule, 500 lumens. What you actually want to do is buy more 500 lumen lights and put them around in the right places in your garden. Now as the rain gets a bit heavy, I'll just leave you with a reminder of those. Firstly, 500 lumens. Don't need it any higher than that really for domestic. Don't go above 1,000. If it's above 500, try and keep the light pointing down. Second thing, colour temperature. Go for the warm white on the labels if you can, or even go a bit lower to 3,000 degrees Kelvin. Make sure that the lights are always pointing down. But I'm going to leave you with one last little tip, and it's probably the best one to help protect the dark sky. Is when you finish with a light, make sure it's off. Embrace the darkness.